What's going on, boys? Thanks to our patrons and Fiverr customers, subscribe to our Patreon free to stay in the loop, arm yourselves, life stuff. We'll start with the civil service stuff. One, because it's been on my mind, but two, I'm beginning to see the way these things could fit together. I was thinking earlier about littering. On the first level, I'm thinking sometime in late spring or summer, as a group, we pick a week, and then as individuals, we pick a day and go on a little walk through our areas and pick up litter. And do it somewhere safe so you're not getting shot. You could even do it on a nature trail or something. The goal being beginning to develop a connection with the land you're on and its problems. And although it's not a huge problem, litter is a problem, and I really hate litter. There's something pathetic and disrespectful about it. I don't like it. So we're doing something decent. We're starting to build that civil service muscle, starting just by benching the bar, because you don't need to dive headfirst into the heavy shit to start building that sense and building that strength. And again, develop or start developing that sense of place. Like so many princes ranging frequently. Because I think atomization is a tool, a conscious tool, designed to keep you disconnected from the place you live, from the land you live on. In the United States, at least, I think it's common to view your city or your state, wherever you live, not as the land, but more as pocket dimensions you jump between to do whatever it is you need to do while paying no attention to or developing no love for the land connecting all those pockets. And if you don't have that connection, that sense, not only do you not know what's going on, but also it's much easier to push you, to relocate you, or to change things because you don't have that connection to begin with. What does it matter to you as long as your pocket dimensions aren't affected? And I need to make a mental note. At 2 minutes and 45 seconds, we jump into a connected tangent, but not at all what we were talking about or what this video is supposed to be about. I despise citizen politics, or civilian politics. Political ideology is like fantasy football. You might as well be rooting for the elves or the orcs. Ideology is something to keep you occupied and to keep your attention off what's actually going on. And for that purpose, it's an effective tool because once deployed, people or the powers that be don't need to do anything to make it work. People make it work themselves because they love hating each other. And they need some kind of purpose, they need to feel right. And it makes them feel like there is a moral high ground and they have it. They get to feel camaraderie with people on their side, and they get to be shitty to people they disagree with or people who don't want to be involved. And they'll push by using statements like, everything is political, or you're obligated to be involved because politics affects more than just you, ergo, you better join my side. But then, what do these people, these hyper politically inclined people, which is basically all Americans, what do they do? Maybe they vote, but that's not a guarantee, and even if they do vote, their primary focus is going to be on the president, who, as St. O'Neill said, is a tradition. It's like a turkey. But you can guarantee two things. One, they will be constantly and very obnoxious about it on the internet, and then they won't do anything. And it's surreal to me The way people typically talk about ideology, if you tried to apply ideology to a set of community problems, you'll at best accomplish nothing, but more likely make the situation worse, whatever ideology you apply to this set of problems. Because ideology or ideological systems don't solve problems. To solve problems, you need lawyers, you need accountants, you need laborers, you need organizers, and you need resources. An ideology is not going to fix a road. An ideology isn't going to maintain water treatment. Political ideology versus political reality. The political reality is a series of local mounting problems negatively affecting people's ability to exist. What needs to be done? What can we do about it? What are we allowed to do about it legally? Who's going to do it? And who's going to pay for it? And when you're in dealing with problems mode, reality has this nasty habit of butting in, making everything really messy. Chaos will prevent your solving the problem in a way that aligns with your ideology. There's situations enacting communism wholesale isn't going to fix anything. There's situations you can't expect people just to pull up their bootstraps and make it. It's not abstract, it's practical. And people wonder why everything is so shit, so they get into ideology and they blame the opposing ideology while acting like enacting theirs wholesale will fix everything, or electing a president will change anything, will change your local situation. Not realizing, and maybe you do realize it, but I guarantee you, unless you have first-hand experience with it, don't comprehend the degree to which local governments are incompetent, badly managed, criminal in some instances. Not just doing their jobs poorly, these decisions, by the way, are the ones that affect you most, but also damaging the institutions themselves. Why is the police situation so bad in the United States? Qualified immunity, protection from accountability. And when people aren't held accountable, they get more and more brazen, and the trust for those institutions goes down. The institutions are not performing the jobs they were instituted to do. And even on a larger scale, governments don't do ideology. They do self-preservation. And don't even abstract it that way. It's people and their paychecks doing whatever they need to do, including fucking you, to ensure they keep getting paid. The only people who care about ideology in this way are the people least involved in it, with the least understanding of the problem chain, and the most to be squeezed out of them as long as they can be kept distracted. Even better when that distraction makes them think they're becoming more informed, becoming more involved, by paying attention to these abstractions instead of, again, the problem chains affecting them most. It's really stupid, and they fight about it so much, because if they didn't, one, they'd have to acknowledge their own powerlessness, or at least present powerlessness, and two, they'd realize they have to do something. Politics isn't in a book, it isn't on social media, it isn't on TV, it's in your local government's filing cabinets. It's in invoices, it's in local laws, it's in businesses, and it's in broken shit. We'll figure out how to refine this spiel as time goes on, but getting informed means sitting 30 to 40 feet from the people deciding how you're allowed to live your life. And getting involved means putting your hands and eyes on the Lovecraftian abomination that is the problem chain. And that is in part what we are talking about today. Okay, back to the picking up trash bit. Level 1, you're doing something decent. You're getting involved in that problem chain on the smallest levels, and you're developing that connection with the land you live on and caring for it. But then on the second level, there is a more precise you benefit. Benjamin Franklin's autobiography is always worth reading or listening to when you look at it as a self-help book. You aren't just doing public works. You are doing works publicly. For some reason, I find it difficult not to encounter people on a more personal level when you are performing these positivity missions you set for yourself. I was buying snacks for some people at a gas station, and the cashier, who's an old dude, stopped me. I got recognized in person for the first time in my life, but not for being Skimmerlit, but for being my birth name. He saw me in the newspaper, and I was in the newspaper, and I'm very proud of that, and we had a small chat about the problems of our area. My point here is, when you put yourself in situations to be seen, especially if you're doing something positive, some people, unexpected people, will see you. And you'll start building these associations in your local noosphere. I'm unsure why this is the case, but it seems like the more you build your own lore, even if you think you're the only one who knows about it or cares about it, the world starts reacting to you differently. And when you combine this with the city council stuff, I should probably schedule by late December so we can hit the ground running in January or February. It's like a seed sprouting through a bunch of rocks. Like when you commit to rising to a challenge, the challenge rises to meet you too. And if you're shy or worried about conversing with people, if somebody asks you, you tell them you're part of a fledgling organization that is trying to get people involved in their cities. Easy peasy. That conjures a positive image in some dipshit's head and gives you something to talk about. Maybe you get a little networking in. And then there's the third level, the very direct you benefit level. We talk about people building lore. I keep thinking about this newsletter magazine thing. That can build lore. And this is another one of those instances, even if it seems like people don't care, there's still power in this. With appropriate distancing or handle changes, I can write letters of recommendation. Depending on how this develops, this is something you could put on a resume or some other application. And you might think these things would afford you no credit, but you have a pile of resources at your back that you can attach your name to. And if you know how to tell a story, if you know how to sell yourself, this contributes to your essence. And I'm finding essence, especially in job interviews, is more important than anything when it comes to getting opportunities other people are not getting. It's all about all the shit you have and how well you can sell it. And again, the point in doing all this is to develop that civil service muscle even further. It's like your credit. And in terms of fleshing out this newsletter, magazine, whatever it is, whatever it will be, I'm thinking about scrapbooking. One of the things my organization, or I think that gives my organization some of the weight it has, is it has decades and decades of scrapbooks. All of our major achievements over this organization's lifetime are in one place. And in terms of building credit or social credit, this makes me think about evidence building. In addition to the city council reports, pictures of the shit participants are doing. 2 pages of pictures of filled trash bags looks really good. In fact, it looks so good it wouldn't be that hard to bullshit. Now, we won't, but I say that to emphasize the importance of appearances, lore, and credit. And this all is in addition to the strictly skills building and awareness building goals we were talking about a while ago. That's still happening, but we can also build credit to get us the things we want. If not particular individual stuff, then the influence to start influencing other people. We're all social media influencers. And to have a little think about the much larger picture, where ideally does this all go? I don't really know, and we won't until we get into it and have been doing it for a while. But if nothing else, it sounds entertaining and it will form another layer of soul. And then in this second half of the video, I was going to talk about some career stuff, but I think we'll save that for another time. I think on the next typology video, we'll start gathering up people for the however long research process before we can get into the next dream journal test. And then we'll set everything. By the end of the year, we'll have everything ready to start doing the city council reporting thing. I want us to have influence, and I want us to do something with it that isn't completely useless. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't.